I'm going to answer all of your hair care questions. If you're new here, hi, my name is Serena. I'm a bioengineer and trichologist in training who breaks down the science of hair care so you can learn more about your hair and the products you use. And today we're doing a Q&A because I wanted to find another way to connect with you guys. So I asked on Instagram and on YouTube what questions you guys might have about me, the beauty industry, or hair care. And the first question is, what have you been using on your hair recently? Your hair is so shiny and nice. Thank you. So I've actually made a huge change to my routine, and a lot of it has to do with using more gel, but also styling my hair so that I get more volume. Because this is my hair now, but this was my hair before I made the change, and the gel and the styling technique can really make or break your hairstyle. So to go through that, we're actually going to go to the bathroom. So for this part of the Q&A, we're actually going to go over my hair care routine. The products, there are certain products like shampoo, like Hygral, that I use pretty consistently, pretty much every wash, but pretty much every other product kind of changes depending on what my goal is for the day for my hairstyling. For example, if I want my hair to dry a little faster, I'll use a leave-in that's not as heavy, but if I'm focusing more on styling, I'll use a leave-in and a curl cream. And there's actually a couple things that really impact how shiny my hair gets. One is making sure that I'm using enough conditioning products. Two, if your hair is healthy, it should be shiny, but also the way you style your hair impacts it so much, as well as the products you use. So making sure you're using enough leave-in, but also enough gel helps so much with making sure your hair is shiny, even if your hair is curly. Also, for me, my hair is less frizzy and more shiny whenever I blow dry or diffuse my hair. So that's been something I've been doing pretty consistently whenever I do my hair. So I'll show you the products I use, the process, and how I apply them all in this little segment. And we'll answer some questions too. So first we have my pre-shower products, and these are products that you put on before you shower, or you can put it on technically when you're in the shower, but you'll be waiting there for a while. And here we have the DPQ apple cider vinegar detox. I love scalp detoxes before I shower because it really helps me remove buildup. And one of the things that I've been doing wrong in the past with my dandruff is I haven't been cleansing my scalp enough. So scalp detoxes, like pre-poo scalp treatments, help a lot with removing buildup, especially with DPQ because it has salicylic acid. And salicylic acid will help remove that buildup, and it's really been helpful for me. And it's also super important that you target areas that tend to have a lot more buildup. And for me, that's like the back of my head and also like right here. And you can use a comb to separate your hair and then part it, but it's not really practical for me because it's been a couple days since my wash day. And also right here tends to be a really bad spot for me. And scalp pre-poo products, they usually say to massage the product into your scalp so that you can spread it. And I just find that using a scalp brush really helps like spread the products more evenly. Even though I target areas specifically that tend to have more flaking. And it's really important when you're using a scalp massager that you're really gentle with your hair. And while that's sitting, we'll go in with the Ypres Bond Repair treatment, and you essentially just spray it on before you shower and you wait a couple minutes, and then you can continue to do your normal routine. Now, Ypres works a lot like Olaplex in the sense that they actually create artificial disulfide bonds. And they have technology called biodiffusion, and basically once you spray on your hair and wait the amount of time for the treatment to get into your hair, that the treatment doesn't wash out and it continues repairing your hair even after you wash it. Now, someone had asked for brands that are more eco-friendly but also don't push science illiteracy, and Ypres is actually such a good option for this. And basically their treatment comes in this reusable bottle, and you fill it up with water but not all the way, and you apply the Ypres treatment, which comes in a little glass vial. You shake up the product and then you can apply it to your hair. Also, another low waste brand I like a lot that doesn't push science illiteracy is from Cuticle. Containers are actually made from recycled ocean plastic. These have actually become some of my favorite styling products, and I'll show you in a little bit about with the texture and how the product feels. Now, whenever I wash my hair, I like to double cleanse. I know some people don't, but I always double cleanse with Hygral, and then I'll use another shampoo. And Hygral is my all-time favorite. I literally talk about it all the time. And it's because it has ketoconazole, which is an antifungal ingredient, which will help you manage your dandruff. And because I'd mentioned the Tutti products earlier, I'm actually going to use their gentle shampoo. This is actually my first time using it, but I'm sure it's going to be great because their styling products are amazing. Well, so I'll double cleanse with Tutti. The Tutti gentle shampoo actually does a really good job with cleansing without without making your hair feel stripped. I know a lot of brands say they make shampoos that are gentle but don't strip your hair, but this is truly probably one of the best gentle shampoos I've ever used. And then Nizoral. Now you know that Nizoral is one of my favorite shampoos of all time, and it's because it has ketoconazole and I have dandruff. Ketoconazole is an antifungal ingredient. If you want to learn more about dandruff and how to treat dandruff, I have a video on that too. I'll link a video right here that you can check out. I forgot to add that I'll be using the intense bonding treatment before I shampoo to protect the ends of my hair. And this one's the intense bonding treatment from Not Your Mother's. Pre-poo treatment protects the ends of your hair while you're shampooing, which I think is really important for me because I double cleanse whenever I shower. So protecting my hair as much as possible is something that I need in my routine. Now for the conditioning step, I typically like to use multi-use conditioners like the Comeback Kid from Fenty Hair or the Pray Healthy Hair Conditioner, because you don't have to rinse the product out and it just shortens my routine a little bit. And because I apply pre-poo products, I try to shorten my routine. But today we're going to be using 2D Lab styling products. So we are going to use the 2D Lab conditioner. The texture of the 2D Lab detangling conditioner reminds me a lot of their leave-in conditioner, which you'll see the texture in a second. It does a really good job at helping detangle your hair for a conditioner that doesn't have silicones. And if you know me, you'll know that I love when silicones are in my hair products. But if you're looking for a silicone-free conditioner, this would be a pretty good option. And since we're on the topic of detangling your hair, now would be a good time for another question. Now the next question is, what are the best tools for detangling curly hair? A brush or a wide tooth comb? Now I went years just using a wide tooth comb because it's what I was taught when I was learning how to take care of my hair, but I actually prefer a brush, specifically from Tangle Teezer. You can actually see some of my hair in it, and you'll actually see me use it in the routine. And the reason is because the top of the brush, it doesn't have little ball things that will catch on your hair, but also the bristles are very flexible, and that flexibility will allow for less damage to happen to your hair, because instead of ripping through your hair, it makes it more of a gentle pull, so it causes less damage in turn. I just prefer brushes like these in general because whenever I use a wide tooth comb, it takes me forever to detangle my hair. And afterwards, apply the leave-in. Now the 2D Lab leave-in was the first 2D Lab product I tried, and all the 2D Lab products, they don't look the same, but they feel the same in a sense. Even the shampoo, which I think in this case is a good thing because they just feel so conditioning on your hair. And something I noticed about the leave-in specifically is that it does a really good job at making your hair clump together. And clumping is essential when you're trying to make your hair more shiny and look more defined. And then apply the gel. So whenever you apply gel to your hair, it kind of reinforces however you style it. And whenever we apply the 2D Lab leave-in conditioner, we kind of made little curl clumps. Those curl clumps are eventually going to be curls, and the gel is kind of just reinforcing that curl. So that's how you're going to get the definition and shine, is making those clumps and reinforcing those clumps so that they can turn into curls. And I also really like that the gel has heat protection too. With my gel, I've been applying some type of hairspray, and I typically use the Redken Hide Hold Thermal Spray, but I actually got this Curl Talk defining spray from Not Your Mother, so we're gonna try this out too. So what really gets my definition is not only my conditioning product, but also making sure that I apply a lot of gel and hairspray. And I apply the hairspray at the back, where the back of my hair is. Those strands tend not to be as curly, and I find that hairspray helps me a lot because sometimes I might miss applying the gel to that part of my hair. And after applying all of my styling products, I'll kind of scrunch my hair with a microfiber hair towel to try to get my hair as dry as possible without making it frizzy. And then I'll diffuse with the Shark Beauty Flex Style so I can focus on volume. I also really like this blow dryer because the diffuser attachment, like the little prongs, go up and down, which kind of helps your roots have more volume. And after my hair dried, I use Olaplex number 7 to scrunch out the gel cast. I actually first recorded the Q&A right after I finished styling my hair for this video, but the video has no audio because I think my mic died without me realizing it. But this was the result of doing the routine from the video. And you can see Daisy, my youngest cat, in the background too. And the next question is using bond repair products worth it if your hair is in its natural state and healthy? Using bond repair or any type of repair products can be useful even if you don't do anything to your hair, like using hot tools, dyeing or bleaching your hair, or even if you don't style your hair a lot. Because every day, no matter what you do, your hair goes through some sort of damage. It can be from styling your hair, putting your hair in a ponytail, detangling your hair, or even just going outside and UV rays hitting your hair. So bonding products can help you even if you don't do anything to your hair, because not only do bonding products repair damaged hair, But a lot of bonding products also protect your hair from further damage. If you think about it this way, your hair has a bunch of different types of bonds, weak and really strong bonds, and those weak bonds can break every day. And when they're intact, your hair is stronger. So even if those products are helping repair weaker bonds, it's making your hair stronger and preventing damage from further happening. Because even those weaker bonds that you may break every day are still being repaired. And if you want to know the detail and science about how bonding products work, I have a course called Intro to Hair Science that breaks down all types of repair products. And the next question is, how effective are conditioners/treatments that have protein in them? Do they penetrate your cuticle? So protein repair products typically don't penetrate your cuticle because they're conditioners, but if the protein is small enough, it can technically go to your hair and help repair your hair, but it's not going to be a permanent repair. And by coating your hair, it makes your hair stronger and repairs the cuticle in a sense, because it's essentially, people always say that like protein fills in the gaps of your cuticle, but it really just acts like a conditioner and it coats the outside layer of your hair. But there are proteins that are small enough to actually go into your hair to repair your hair. So if you think of something like a peptide, so like the K18 peptide, it's small enough, it's a protein that's small enough to go through the cuticle, go through the cortex, and actually find the keratin change in your hair and repair your hair that way. So if the protein is small enough, it can penetrate your hair, but otherwise it's mostly just sitting outside on your cuticle. But it's not a bad thing, because with the protein sitting outside on the cuticle, it actually can make your hair stronger, because not only is it protecting your hair, but it's also making your hair look or feel thicker. And the thicker your hair, the stronger it is. The next question is hygral fatigue a myth? So hygral fatigue basically happens when you have water, and some people might even say moisture or conditioning products are added to your hair, making some sort of damage on your hair due to the excess like moisture or conditioning, which would make your hair damage. And I've even heard people say online, you need to add protein in your hair if this happens. And that's not really true. Hygral fatigue happens when your hair is wet with water. Whenever your hair gets wet, it swells, causing stress on something called your cell membrane complex. Now, this is important because your cell membrane complex is essentially the glue that holds your hair together. And by water making your hair swell, it's putting stress on your cell membrane complex, which ends up damaging your hair. And it also makes your hair super fragile, which is why whenever your hair is wet, you have to be super gentle with it because of hygral fatigue. So hygral fatigue is not a myth, because water does make your hair more fragile. The next question is there damage from using hot water in the shower? So if we take the answer about hygral fatigue from the first question, this will help us answer this question a little bit more. So we already know that water makes your hair fragile. Well, people believe that if you use hot water, it'll make your hair cuticle raise, and if you use cold water, it'll seal your cuticle or make the cuticle flat. But that's not entirely true, because water, no matter what the temperature is going to raise your hair cuticle. And it makes sense considering what we learned about hygral fatigue. So no matter what temperature the water is, it is going to make your cuticle raise, and it's also going to impact your cell membrane complex. However, I don't recommend using really hot water whenever you're washing your hair, because it can damage your hair, especially since water already makes your hair really fragile. Using really hot water wouldn't really help the situation, so I always recommend whenever you're washing or rinsing your hair to use warm water. You don't really have to use cold water. You can use cold water if you want to, but using warm water is absolutely fine. Are silicones safe for curly hair? Silicones are not only safe for curly hair, but they're actually safe for all hair types. And the reason is that silicones are conditioning agents. Conditioning agents coat your hair to protect your hair. And because they coat your hair to protect your hair, they make really good conditioning agents. They make really good heat protectants. They help detangle your hair, they make your hair shiny, and they make your hair really smooth. Now, people who are afraid of using silicones are usually afraid of using silicones because of silicone buildup, but you don't really have to worry about silicone buildup, because most silicones can wash away with water, can be shampooed out with a clarifying shampoo, or they just break down over time anyways. So if you are afraid of using silicones, you really don't have to be, but you can always do a patch test for any products that you're afraid to use, whether it be on your skin or on your hair. The next question is, what's the best natural hair product line for curly hair and length retention? So when it comes to shampoos and conditioners, you don't really have to use curly specific shampoos or conditioners, but some of my favorite product lines brand are actually bond repair products, and it's the Dove Bond Strength and the L'Oreal Everpure Bonding line. They have really good shampoos and conditioners. The L'Oreal Everpure tends to be a little bit heavier than the Dove, so if you have finer hair, I'd recommend the Dove over the L'Oreal Everpure. Now, when it comes to cosmetic products, I don't exactly love the word natural, because not only are chemicals some of the best hair care ingredients in products, because natural products isn't really a regulated term, it's kind of just more of a marketing term. And the way I like to approach hair care is more, if something works for you, then you should just keep using it, especially if it has like silicones and sulfates. And there are a lot of misconceptions in hair care, especially when it comes to ingredients. So whenever you're choosing a hair product, use whatever is best for you and what you like. But my two favorite shampoos that I tend to grab a lot are actually drugstore shampoos, and they both have silicones in them. I also love the hair mask from Dove and the hair serum, and then also the pre-poo from L'Oreal Everpure. As far as styling products, it kind of depends on what your preference are, but Not Your Mother's is always good for a drugstore curl cream and gel. And my favorite curl cream is actually from Fenty Hair, the Home Curl Cream. And when it comes to styling products in general, I really like Curlsmith and Tutti Lab. And if you want to see what my hair routine looks like, you can look at my hair routine at the start of this video. Now we're going to go into a little bit more specific questions that you guys have asked about your own hair issues, and hopefully I can give you some solutions for them. My hair is always growing, but it's always thin, see-through. Then when you cut it, it grows with the same problem. Is there a fix? It kind of depends, because some people just have naturally thinner hair, but some general things that may help: if your hair is thin because of damage, then there's something wrong with the routine you're using and or how you're treating your hair. You might be too rough with it whenever you're styling and or detangling your hair. Your routine might not have enough conditioning products, and your hair might be dry and breaking off. So in that case, you add more conditioning products that you like to your routine. The only other way I can think of that might cause your hair to be really thin might be because you might be experiencing hair loss. And in that case, I always recommend you see a trichologist or a dermatologist. But some general rules of thumb is that your hormones and the things that you eat have a huge impact in the way that your body works, and it also impacts your hair growth. So that's why it's important to see a doctor, because they can do blood tests and figure out what the exact problem is. The next question is it counterproductive to use products with silicones if you have scalp psoriasis or other scalp issues? Now, this is actually a really good question, because the products you use can have a large impact on the conditions that you may have on your scalp. Now, I naturally have dandruff, but if I don't do anything about it and I let it get too bad, it actually kind of looks like psoriasis. I've used silicones and I've never had a problem. Silicones are actually a really safe ingredient for your skin, especially in skincare and in hair care, so you shouldn't have any problems with it making any conditions worse. That being said, it's always good to do a patch test to see if there's any problems with any products you might be using. Silicones are film formers, so in theory it does make sense why it might make something like dandruff or psoriasis worse. I've personally never had that problem or have heard anyone with psoriasis or dandruff have that problem, but it's always good to do a patch test just in case. The next question is, what are some minimal but best hair recovery products? It kind of just depends what you want. If you want the most impact for the least amount of money, I would go drugstore, get something from the Dove bonding line or the L'Oreal Everpure bonding line. The Dove serum mask is one of my favorite products. This is one of my favorite repair products, not only because it repairs some of the weaker bonds in your hair, but also it does such a good job at detangling and also conditioning your hair. And if you can afford it, of course, something like K18 could also help too. I don't really use many Olaplex products except for Olaplex number 7. I do like the Apres products, but the products have minimal fragrance and some people don't really like that. But I like the conditioner the most because you can use it as a conditioner and a leave-in, and it repairs the disulfide bonds in your hair, kind of like Olaplex does, but it doesn't leave any heavy residue. Now for the next question, what is Pili Torti? From my understanding, Pili Torti is basically a rare hair shaft disorder. Basically, your hair grows in, twisted at different intervals that aren't normally normal for your hair. For example, you might have individual hairs that might not look like the rest of your hair, so it might be more textured, but it's really thick and really brittle. And there's not really a cure for Pili Torti, but if you do have this condition, the only thing that you can do is take really good care of your hair. Making sure that you're using conditioning products and that you're being really gentle with your hair is something that that you're gonna have to do. And of course, getting a checkup and making sure you have no internal issues that might be impacting the condition would also be recommended too. But with Pili, Torti, there's not really a lot that you can do. There's not necessarily a cure for it, it's just more so managing it. The next question is, how can hormonal changes affect hair growth or loss? And hormones can actually directly impact your hair growth rate, your hair density, your hair texture, and the amount of shedding you have. Now, throughout everyone's life, your hormones are going to change, and that can directly impact your hair from things like puberty, pregnancy, menopause, using medications like birth control, stress, and even medical conditions. There are a couple main types of hormones that directly impact your hair loss. One of the most common is androgens, and they actually shrink the size of your hair follicle, making your hair thinner and shorter. And you see that in cases of androgenic alopecia. High androgen levels might be in something like PCOS, where you'll likely see some hair thinning on your scalp or more hair growth on other areas of your body. With menopause, and if you're postpartum, you'll have low androgens, which can lead to weaker and slower growing hair because of decreased follicle stimulation. Also, when you're pregnant, you might have an increase in estrogen, which prolongs the growing phase of your hair, and a decrease of estrogen postpartum and in menopause can also trigger hair thinning as well. Now, there are a ton of hormones that I can go over and tell you what the effects are, but the general rule of thumb is that whenever your body is under some type of stress, whether it be through like external stresses like from your job or going through pregnancy or menopause, whatever it may be, to cause some physiological change in your body, it can have an impact on your hair. So if you are experiencing some type of change, the best thing you can do is always go to your doctor so that you can get necessary tests done to see what the problem is for your hair loss. Then you can work with your doctor plus a dermatologist or trichologist to help make up a plan to effectively treat your hair loss. But hair growth and hair loss is something that's going to happen through pretty much everyone's lives, and especially if you're going through changes, especially as you age. The next question is a UK substitute for hair products. I don't want to recommend a brand I haven't tried or looked at myself. So I'm gonna list some brands that I like, I'm pretty sure are available in the UK. I'm pretty sure that Dove and L'Oreal are available in the UK, so definitely using the Dove Bond Strength line and L'Oreal Everpure line are like two of my favorite products I know are available in the UK. One of my favorite curl brands is called Cuticle, and they're actually based in the UK. They also sell to the US. One of the final questions is, what is my ethnicity? My dad is from Bangladesh and my mom is from America. So I'm Bengali and African American, which is why I have very mixed hair, because I'm mixed. My mom's side has coils, but my grandmother, my mom, my aunts all straighten their hair and also have had relaxers in the past. So I didn't really grow up seeing their coils, but my sisters and I all have curly hair, but they're all slightly different. My eldest sister has very tight and very dense curls. I have pretty loose curls, but my second eldest sister has even looser curls. Her hair actually used to be straight when we were younger, and it actually eventually went curlier. And to finish off with one of my favorite questions, how long have you had your fur babies? I love when they make their little appearances. So if you watch my channel or even my TikTok, my cats are always appearing in my videos. If you have cats, you know you can't really control where they go and what they do, so I kind of just let them do what they want to do, and I try to make areas for them to rest or do whatever they need to do. Right now, Daisy's laying next to me. That's my youngest. And whenever I'm making content or working in my office, 99% of the time, one of my cats are laying on this lower bed that I have. It's also a heating pad, but this is my youngest, Daisy. She actually turns 1 in about a week, and we got her last year during the summer in 2024. My oldest cat, Yoshi, I felt like she just needed a friend because I would visit my older sister's house all the time and I bring Yoshi with me, and Yoshi has befriended my sister's cat, Charles, and whenever I saw them apart, like, I just felt like there was something missing for Yoshi, and so we started looking for a kitten for Yoshi to raise, and that's how we found Daisy. We found her at a New Jersey shelter, and also another cool fact about her is Sabrina Carpenter did an SNL promo about last year, 2024, in May, and Daisy and her sisters were actually in the promo. I'll show a picture where Daisy is and the promo is, but yeah, they were in an SNL promo, which was really cool. And it was honestly, I was looking at a lot of different kittens, and I kind of wanted one with a cool coat color, and that's how she is. And I wanted one that was friendly and outgoing because Yoshi can have a little bit of an attitude, so I kind of wanted one that was easygoing. And Daisy's both easygoing, and she has a really cool coat pattern. And on top of that, like, I really like Sabrina Carpenter, so her meeting Sabrina Carpenter was really cool too. So that's a cool fact I always share about Daisy. And finally, over here we have Yoshi. She's sleeping in the cat corner. And I had adopted Yoshi when she was about 6 months old in 2022. She had a brother who was adopted by the family who found her. She was found under like a car outside of her foster mom's workplace. Her and her brother were found. And her brother was adopted by the family, and then I adopted Yoshi, but I got Yoshi when she was 6 months old. And over time I kind of realized that Yoshi needed a friend, and that friend became Daisy. And I've had Yoshi for about 2 years, and it's been about 7 months for Daisy. She keeps putting her head out of the frame. They want to see you. And I've had Daisy for about 7 months. They don't always get along. You have something to say? They don't always get along. They do love to play. They're not the absolute best friends, but they do love to play and eat with each other and just hang out in the vicinity of each other. Daisy and I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe because it helps me create more videos like this one. I always love to learn and connect with you, and I can't wait to see what we do next.